All right, I'm here. Happy Thursday, everyone. Thank you all very much for coming out. Much appreciated. Hope you're having a good week so far. So, before I forget, good afternoon, Veronica. No? Good afternoon, Veronica.
Good afternoon, Gimpy, and hello everyone.
Ugh,
Have a great stream.
good start. Anyway, happy Thursday. Thank you all very much for coming out. I said that already, didn't I? So, stuff.
Your next break is in 1 hour.
Okay. Stream schedule. Thought about playing Baldur's Gate 3 today, but then found out they've got a big and one another. They have supposedly another big patch coming out tomorrow. So I think originally it was supposed to come out today, but I didn't know that. So we'll probably be playing Baldur's Gate sometime next week. I didn't really want to play because my thinking here is with the patch with Baldur's Gate 3 coming out tomorrow. With my luck, they'd be fixing up something that we'll be doing that we would have been doing today. Not a huge deal, but if they're doing bug fixes and that kind of stuff, it's better to just wait a little bit and let them get that straightened out, and we'll probably play Baldur's Gate sometime next week. We'll see. Anyway, so today, Starfield. Tomorrow, Friday, though, is Solasta multiplayer with Jeff Hobo and Hurricane. Saturday, back here to Starfield. Sunday is Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, with the first half of the stream there being campaign stuff with Gimpy the Dwarven Crusader Angel. And the second half of the stream will be the Treasure of the Midnight Isles DLC with your group 10. And then Monday, probably Master of Magic, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Starfield or Baldur's Gate 3. And we'll try to squeeze some Baldur's Gate 3 at least twice next week, just to make up for today. That's the goal. Doesn't mean it's going to happen, it's just the goal. And then after that, who knows? Okay, what else? Oh, Rocket had to go to the vet today. He had actually started on Tuesday is when we really noticed it. He was freaking out, to say the least. Basically, he was howling and chewing out his back end, like his tail area, his legs, that kind of stuff. We're trying to figure out what's going on with them, blah, blah, blah. We ended up, it was a whole ordeal on Tuesday night. Didn't talk about it yesterday, but Tuesday night was a whole ordeal with that. And yesterday was fine, though. Wednesday, he no problems whatsoever. And then this morning rolled around and he started doing it again. So Mrs. Gimpy freaks out and she goes, I got to take him to the vet. I go, okay. How much is this going to cost me? And she just got back a little while ago. And it's no big deal. It just, he's got a flea problem is really what it is. Which means Mickey's probably got a flea problem too. He's just not bitching about it as much as Rocket is. And no big deal. So that's taken care of. However, a vet we have never used before. And at least a vet we've never, actually, I don't think we've used them before. At least, no, we've used them before. It's actually a little group of vets. It's not a singular vet. It's like they got a whole big thing in the next city over. But they're the only ones that had a spot open because they have a walk-in type deal that they do. And anyway, talking to that vet, doing the exam stuff and looking at his teeth and go, oh, this is a mess in here. He's going to need some work and whatever. Also, he's a little underweight, which this is the part that blew me away. Was she said that Rocket is underweight by 2 pounds. 2 pounds is approximately a kilo for most of the world. For a dog their size, that's a pretty big chunk of weight. Mickey and Rocket are typically, throughout their lives, weighed between 14 and 15 pounds. And then I asked Mrs. Gimpy after she's telling me this. She said, so the vet said he's 2 pounds underweight. How much does he weigh? And she goes, she didn't say. I go, then how does she know that he's 2 pounds underweight if she didn't give you a weight? She goes, I don't know. She goes, she's never seen them before either, right? She goes, no. She goes, so how does she know he's 2 pounds underweight? She goes, maybe she's just guessing based on the type of dog. I go, what, a Papillon? These guys are big for Papillons. So how is he 2 pounds underweight? And then Miss Gimpy goes, well, she said she felt his ribs, and she said she could feel his ribs. I go, that doesn't mean he's underweight. That means he's healthy. If you can't feel their ribs, it means they're overweight. If you can feel their ribs, it usually means they're healthy. And with their coats, their hair and stuff, you can't really tell if they're super skinny because usually, the rib thing is very, objective. Is that the right word? Is it no? It's subjective. Is it objective? I always get subjective and objective mixed up. But what I'm trying to say is, it's an opinion. If you can feel their ribs, it doesn't mean that they're skin. It doesn't mean they're underweight. It usually means that they're healthy, because you're supposed to be able to feel their ribs. But you actually have to look at the rest of their body too to see, you got to check out their bellies and basically the space between their ribs and their hips. What kind of condition is that in? Because that usually will tell you if they're overweight or underweight. Either, because there's, if they're overweight, if they look like a sausage when you're looking at them from the top. And if they're underweight, they look more like an hourglass, which means they're underweight. But if they're healthy, it's somewhere, in between. Like I said, you should be able to feel the ribs by lightly rubbing your fingers along the rib cage. You should be able to feel the ribs. If you can't, again, overweight. And if if it feels like their ribs are too deep, then you're going to have to look into, are they underweight? Rocket does not feel underweight when you rub your hands along his ribs. And as soon as she said, she said, he's 2 pounds underweight. I just looked at her and go, so he's not eating enough? Is that what your vet is trying to tell you? And she goes, yeah. And I go, and I just start laughing. Rocket eats so freaking much. And I say, what the really issue is because you feed him chicken all the time, and there's very little fat in chicken. And that's probably what it is he's just not getting enough fat in his diet. And that's why he wants to eat so much, and that's why he wants to eat more, because that's what the vet says. Because Mrs. Gimpy told the vet that he eats a lot, and the vet says probably because he's not getting enough food. And I'm just laughing. I go, actually, it's not that he's not getting enough food. He's just not getting enough fat in his diet, and because he's getting plenty of food. Because he eats kibble and he eats his dinner or breakfast, and then he tries to eat Mickey's dinner or breakfast, and it doesn't matter what kind of food it is. So anyway, Mrs. Gimpy's going to be giving him a little bit more extra food to see if that satiates his appetite, which it won't, because this is Rocket. Rocket has always been, he's the big eater of the group. If anything, he was overweight for a long time, but he's lost some weight. He's lighter than he used to be for whatever reason. And I think that might be an age thing more than anything else. And so, because dogs tend to lose weight as they get older, because they lose muscle mass as they get older, just like people do. And so they lose weight as a result. And so that stuff. It's fun. So anyway, the Rocket's got to go in and get some dental work done next Friday. And this is another good part too, is, the vet says, oh, his teeth are a mess, he needs work. And then they give Mrs. Gimpy an estimate, potentially $1,400 worth of work. I went, no, we're not paying $1,400 of dental work, or $1,400 for dental work on a 16-year-old dog. That's crazy. And she goes, what are we going to do then? I go, call other vets and see what they're charging, and see if that price is high or low. And so she called a couple of our vets that we've used in the past, and one was about the same range as this vet that she just saw, and the other one, the vet is the vet that she's been using for like 30 years plus, and they're a really good vet. There's I think there's 2 of them there, and but they're really good. They have been. I mean, the few times that I've had to deal with them, they're really knowledgeable. They're really nice people in general, and their prices aren't outrageous. They're actually reasonable. Reasonable. How reasonable? They're saying the dental work's going to be between $400 and $600. And I just look at Mrs. Gimpy and I go, so the vet you went to today, $1,400. The one you're supposed to be going to on a regular basis, $400 to $600. So $1,000 difference there. What does that tell you about the vet you went to today? And she just looks at me and I go, yeah, they're scamming you. They're totally scamming you on everything they're charging you for. When you can go to one vet and get that big of a difference in the same stuff, that's ridiculous. And and they can't claim it's, oh, you don't have enough business, because that's bullshit. Because vets are booked all the time these days. At least around us, they are. And anyway, so got to take up $400 to $600 to fix Rocket's teeth, and then Mickey's going in. No, Mickey's not going in. Sorry, Mickey's not going in. We thought because the other vet the vet that Mrs. Gimpy saw today gave Rocket a prescription flea medication type stuff. It's just a little tablet he has to eat. Prescription. Give me a break. Anyway, And I said, well, are you going to bring Mickey back over to them to get a prescription for, because he's, he has fleas too. She goes, I don't know. I go, well, tell you what, call this vet that you're taking Varka to next week and see if you can get Mickey in on Friday. Because they don't do prescriptions without examining a dog. Those reasons. And at least for this particular flea medication. I go, so call him, bring him in on Friday. And she calls him up and she goes, oh, you don't need a appointment for this. He doesn't need to be examined because we just saw him, like 6 months to a year ago or something like that. So you just have to come in and pick up the prescription, go get the, medication, no problem. So, or not medication. It's flea medication or flea stuff, whatever they call it. Anyway, so, and the funny thing is, I told Mrs. Gimpy like easily a month ago. I said, these guys have fleas. We should do something about that. She was okay. I'll take care of it. A month later, we're at the vet paying way too much money. So it's all Mrs. Gimpy's fault. Anyway, I think that's enough talking. We should go play some stuff. Shoot some bad guys.